Welcome, everybody. My name is Daniel Mendoza, and I am the Director for Undergraduate Recruitment here in the College of Engineering at UNLV. Welcome to Rebel Preview Fall 2020. This is new for all of us, so we are doing it virtually. We wish we could be on campus. We wish we could be doing this presentation face to face, but we all have to make some adjustments. So with me today, I have two of my lead engineering student ambassadors. I have Evan and Justin with me. Evan, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is Evan Barber. I'm currently a fifth year senior here at UNLV, studying mechanical engineering and entertainment engineering and design. I plan to attend law school following, but during my time in undergraduate, I've been a member of the Honors College. I've attended, a plurality of meetings, whether it's the National Society of Professional Engineers, National Society of Mechanical Engineers, any sort of organization on campus I've at least dipped a toe into during my time here. And I really am proud to represent the engineering ambassadors with my good friend and co-lead, Justin Sitt.
Thanks, Evan. My name is Justin Sith. I'm currently a junior, double majoring in entertainment engineering and design and civil engineering. So, in addition to being an ambassador, I'm also the president of the Society of Asian Scientists and Engineers. And I also hold an officer position in the American Society of Civil Engineers. So, super excited to be here talking to you guys about UNLV engineering.
Perfect, perfect. Thanks, guys. So today, what we're going to do is go through a few of our programs. We'll talk a little bit about clubs and organizations. And then later, we do have a presentation that will focus in on our buildings, some of our lab spaces and services. So definitely check that out. It will be coming later in the day. But for now, we are going to concentrate on the programs that we actually offer. And then directly after that, we'll talk about student involvement, which is incredibly important for any student who's going to any institution, but I think more so for engineering majors. On the screen, you'll see all the undergraduate programs that we offer our students. And starting off, we are going to discuss civil and environmental engineering. And to do that, Justin will be speaking.
All right, so civil engineering, well, rather, civil and environmental engineering involves the planning, analysis, design, construction, and operation of many of the components of our nation's infrastructure. So if you think about what goes into building a city, right, developing a city, or even preserving the environment, all of that work, all that engineering is what a civil and environmental engineer works with. So if you want to work for consulting company, a government agency, utilities, or even considering grad school, um, civil engineering is a good area to look into.
All right, on to mechanical engineering. One of my majors. Mechanical engineering revolves around the planning, design, and manufacture of moving systems, oftentimes machines, drones, robots, things of those nature. So if it moves, a mechanical engineer has probably had their hand in the design process somewhere along the way. During your time at UNLV in mechanical engineering, we will be talking about all of the opportunities that you have to be able to really grasp what it is a mechanical engineer does. Justin?
All right, so moving on, we have construction management. And construction management involves the planning, engineering, performance, and management of the construction process. So this is very pretty similar to civil and mechanical and electrical engineering, but the area is a bit different, right? Focused purely on the construction. So there's not very much engineering involved here. This is much more a business-oriented degree. You're a construction manager, right? So what's really nice about this program that we offer here, that is that there's far less math and science requirements in terms of the classes that you're taking. And for some students, that's really attractive because maybe math and science isn't quite the forte for you, and you're more interested in business and managing. this is a program that is in very high demand and a program that we're really encouraging students to study, especially if you're considering, staying and living here in Las Vegas.
All right, moving on to electrical engineering. Electrical engineering is the application of scientific and mathematical principles to the design, manufacture, and control of machines, processes, and systems. So as mentioned with mechanical engineering, your system is moving, but what is controlling that system? That's where an electrical engineer comes into play. Electrical engineers are designing the systems that are operating each of those mechanical devices, providing it power and providing the signals necessary to be able to operate on time and exactly as designed.
Moving on from that, we have computer science. And computer science is the study and of theory, design, application of computers. It's a rapidly evolving field based a lot on mathematics, logic, electronics, linguistics, and systems engineering. So, computer science focuses on things like computer programming, being someone like a software engineer. It could also be focusing on the cybersecurity, protecting information on your computer. It could also be working with large and large amounts of information, big data, and taking that information and figuring out what does it mean and what we can do with it. So those are a couple examples of what you can do in computer science. And I think you can look around our world today and see that there's a huge need for computer scientists in just about any business.
Moving on to computer engineering. Computer engineering really weds together electrical engineering and computer science, as they are responsible for applying the principles from both of those fields together to make sure that any given system is operating cohesively, receiving the signals from electrical engineers' designs, but wedding it with the actual code that has been written by a computer scientist. So computer engineers are really working with the physical structures that are operating any given system. So if you were to accidentally drop your phone on the ground, for instance, and the screen pops off, and you see everything that's been packed into that little space, a computer engineer has been responsible for that.
And then last but not least, we have entertainment engineering and design. It may not come off as a surprise to you that the city of Las Vegas's university has a engineering degree focused on entertainment. So entertainment engineering design is an interdisciplinary program involving both the College of Engineering and the College of Fine Arts. So if you ever wondered, what is the type of engineering that goes into live theatrical performances that businesses like Cirque du Soleil put together, well, entertainment engineering is sort of a dive into some of that. You learn fundamental applications of engineering, and then you combine that with theories and ideas in live entertainment and theater. So the students that are in this program are often very passionate, very creative, and they have a certain goal in mind. Some students in this program, they want to work for Disney, become Imagineers. Some of them want to work for Cirque du Soleil and go on tour, go on shows, and be a part of building the next, live brand performance.
All right. Thanks, Justin, and thanks, Evan. So the next thing we're going to dive into is student involvement. But before we do that, I just really wanted to stress to our listeners that we quickly went through all of those undergraduate programs. You probably still have some questions about what you're learning, what jobs might come from each of those majors, what the classes are like. So definitely reach out to us so we could spend more time on those areas that you specifically are interested in. And if there's a way for me to get you connected with students that are majoring in that, or clubs or organizations, faculty, things like that, do not hesitate to reach out to either myself or the engineering student ambassadors. We'll have our contact information up at the end. So I just quickly wanted to say that. As far as student involvement, the university itself has over 300 different clubs and organizations. I'm talking anything from a pizza club to a lightsaber club. If you're a Star Wars fan, you should be excited about that. But outside of that, the College of Engineering has just over 20 clubs and organizations that are focused in on majors or focused in on competitions or just professional development. And so I definitely want to bring Evan and Justin into these conversations because both of them are either leading clubs and organizations or just heavily involved in them. You'll see that we've kind of broken up the clubs into categories. So you have clubs that are focused in on professional development. You have clubs, orgs that are focused in on technical experience through competitions, and then clubs that focus in on connecting and networking and things like that. I will say that most clubs, if not all of them, do a little bit of everything. But definitely there are some that focus in on these areas. So it's really important that you do get involved as an undergraduate. So here again, you see a little bit about some of the clubs that might fall into these little categories. I want to bring Justin into this because he's involved in a couple of different clubs and is the president of Society of Asian Scientists and Engineers. Justin, can you tell us a little bit about your experiences with clubs and then what exactly it is that SACE does?
Yeah, so when I started college, right, it was super important for me to put myself out there, to get involved with what was happening on campus because that's what I didn't do in high school, and I felt like I missed out on something really important during that time. So I didn't want to make the same mistake coming into college. So I just really joined the things that I was interested in, and I didn't know exactly what that was at the time. And that's okay. You just sort of go out, you go to meetings, and you see what's right for you. And eventually you stick with the stuff that you like. And for me, that was SACE. So SACE, again, stands for the Society of Asian Scientists and Engineers. And our mission is to prepare Asian heritage students for the business world. And we also celebrate diversity and give back to the campus. But we do a lot of things on campus, like organize, professional workshops, mock interviews, events where you can uh, get your resume checked or bring in guest speakers to talk to our members. There's also a national conference every year that does a lot of the things I just mentioned, but you also get to meet and connect with other SACE members from across the entire country. And there's over 100 different chapters, so you're meeting a bunch of different people. It's one of the best reasons, the best things about SACE, and it's really great. It's a really great experience as a STEM major because I think that interaction and developing those skills really round you out as a as a college student. So it's been really a valuable experience for me.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks, Justin. I did want to ask you about one other area, the American Society of Civil Engineers. Now, I know, I think you just recently started to get heavily involved in that competition, the concrete canoe, which doesn't really make sense when you say it out loud. But I was hoping you could just describe what exactly that competition is, and just explain the idea behind it.
Yes, so every year, the American Society of Civil Engineers, they have regional conferences based on where your chapter is. So since this is Las Vegas, we're located in the West region. So every year, we have technical events that we compete against with other schools. One of the technical events is the concrete canoe competition, where we design, mix, and then build a concrete canoe. And the challenge of it is, for one thing, making concrete that's actually strong and able to hold its own weight together normal. So just standard being able to build concrete, which is a challenge of itself. But the extra challenge is designing concrete that's going to be able to float on water. And that's really, really difficult because concrete is very heavy, it's very dense, and you build it to be very tough. And so it's almost you're throwing in conflicting ideas with it. And each year they also throw in um, different changes to make the concrete canoe mix even more challenging, right? It's different every single year. Um, but it's a great opportunity for students to get involved with this because when you become an upperclassman, you'll begin to take classes where you're actually learning some of the stuff that we do in the competition, like concrete mix design, a bit of structural analysis, there's some fluid mechanics in there. So stuff that you're going to learn in class, you can actually get a head start in uh, joining the competition and seeing how all of this works in a real applicable, crazy setting.
Awesome. Very good. Thank you for explaining that because it really doesn't make sense, does it? Um,
Yeah.
okay, so I want to bring in, and actually, before I bring Evan into this discussion, there are a few other clubs that really, really focus in on competition. So through that, they get the opportunity to travel across the country. So some of those competitions is falls under SAE, which is the Society of Automotive Engineers, specifically the Baja Club, who builds a off-road vehicle. So my understanding is they are given an engine, and then they have to design everything around that, build it, and go out and compete. We have other clubs that build planes and rockets and go and compete against other institutions. So there's a lot of opportunity for you guys to get involved, and a lot of times you're learning things through these clubs and these competitions before you even get to it in a classroom. So you get the opportunity to connect the dots. Evan, I know you're obviously a part of the ambassadors. You're an honors college student. You're a part of Tau Beta Pi. So can you tell us, number one, about the honors college, number two, Tau Beta Pi, and then how being involved has affected you?
Right. I'll start off by saying that every single experience that a student has in their undergraduate career is cumulative. So starting off in the Honors College, I came in 2016, and I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do following my undergraduate career. But being a member of the Honors College, you're exposed to a variety of different topics at different times. So you're sort of keeping your eyes a little bit broader than one normally does within their major, specifically within the College of Engineering. Understandably so, considering the fact that all the courses that you're going to be taking within the honors curriculum differ from that of the College of Engineering. So that being the case, I sort of looked around, saw what the opportunities were, and took the skills that I had and tried to apply them. As such, I was very successful in my undergraduate career, and I was invited to join the Engineering Honor Society Tau Beta Pi. If you don't know what Tau Beta Pi is, I didn't know what it was either. I thought that it was a dead society on campus that was only occupied by ghosts or people wearing robes and standing inside a candlelit room. But that is definitely not the case. Past notable members from Tau Beta Pi across the nation, Buzz Aldrin, the second man to walk on the moon, plenty of senators, plenty of representatives that have passed their way through Congress as well. So Tau Beta Pi is sort of the creme de la creme of the engineering students on campus. And what they're really about is focusing on the preservation of the practice of engineering as a whole. Being able to not only have the skills under your belt, but being able to take those skills and translate them directly into an impact upon society. So being a member of Tau Beta Pi, as I mentioned, is prestigious, but along with that comes fraternity. And that is something that a lot of these engineering student organizations advocate. Being able to build your network, be able to communicate effectively, and be able to graduate with success. So each of these engineering student organizations will be able to provide a different thing, whether it's SACE in the professional development, being able to learn how to give a presentation, how to speak with professionals, how to interview. For instance, I think that a lot of students coming into their first year of undergraduate study have probably only done an interview at, let's say, McDonald's or Cafe Zupas or something like that. It is a very different interview that you have when you're sitting down for an engineering job. They're going to be asking you technical questions. They're going to be asking you about your background in engineering and the things that you've learned and the way that you've applied them. And being able to answer those questions is definitely an asset to be able to set yourself apart from any other candidates. So being able to say that you worked on the American Institute of Aerospace and the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics design, build, fly project, or the SEDS rocketry program. You're going to be able to take those things and say that you've done them, have them on your resume, and excel as a candidate.
Yeah, it's a great point, Evan. I think, again, for engineering students to be able to have these experiences through conferences or through competitions, you're really building your resume where they're for obvious reasons, you're students. You might have a large gap, right? Maybe you're just putting in class projects because you don't have anything else to fill that resume. So opportunities to really build that out with clubs and organizations. One of the other areas that we compete in is an actual international competition that is invite only, and that's the Solar Decathlon. This is an international competition that is based on designing and building an energy efficient home. And each year that the competition happens, there's a different theme. So you'll see the themes right there for 2013, 2017, and then for 2020. Each of the years that we've been involved in this competition, we've done extremely, extremely well, and we're beating out some of the schools that are world renowned, right? Just known all across, not just the United States, but across the world. And so I think it says a lot about what our students are capable of, because it is pretty much spearheaded by students. Yes, faculty are involved to help, but students are designing and building and getting real life experience. This is a competition where it's as real as it gets, I guess is the best way to put it, because it's not just engineering students. You're working with architecture students, you're working with business students, and you're all one team, just like you would be in a real world, right? Interacting with different people that have different mindsets, whether it's business focused or design focused. Whereas engineering, we're just making sure it works, right? Whenever you design, we have to make sure it can actually stand and it can actually work. So this is a great competition that we're involved in, and again, it's open to students that just want to get some more experience. You can see in 2013 we placed very high in a couple different categories: first in market potential, third in engineering, and then fifth in architecture. In 2017, first place in innovation, which I think says a lot. Second place in engineering, second place in architecture. So we're doing extremely, extremely well. The 2020 house, obviously with COVID, that competition was postponed. It sounds like it is moving forward, but it will be all virtual. So the students are still building, working on the home. But instead of breaking it down and driving it to wherever the competition's being held, it'll just be done locally and done 100% virtual. But again, I just think this is a great example of ways students can get involved and get real life experience. So I know we kind of flew through a lot of information. So again, I really want to stress to our guests that you can reach out to us. We are available. If you have more questions about a specific major, about minors, about clubs, classes, lab spaces, anything and everything that has to do with engineering, you can reach out directly to us. On the screen, you should see my email. You can email me directly. You can also get in contact with the engineering student ambassadors. You'll see the whole team listed there. You can give them a follow on Instagram. I think they do a great job of showing off what the students in engineering are doing. So they focus in on showing off what all the individual clubs are doing, maybe some faculty research, just the interesting things that are happening within the college. But we do thank you for joining us. Again, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to me or the team. Thanks, everyone.